Hey, 'tis Rich. Here's a couple of questions for you. Why do people think they see and hear ghosts? Why do they persist in believing that they exist? Just think about that for a while before you formulate your own answers. Right now, at the time of making this vid, it's 2021. That's the year, not the time. We're in the 21st century, and in the last 200 plus years, there have been major advancements in science, medicine, healthcare, astrophysics, and in a plethora of other fields. Yet there are thousands, if not millions of people out there who believe in ghosts and other supernatural occurrences. The ghost hunting community are still using some of the same twatting tools and techniques to prove the existence of the afterlife as their ancestors have throughout that same 200-year period. And let's be honest, without any real advancements or proof. They continually state things like, we still don't know what ghosts are, or we still don't know why the process works, we just know that it does. I mean, fucking come on. I'm not talking about the fakers out there, I'm talking about the people who truly believe. I'm sure I'll get people in the comments saying, Rich, you tit biscuit, people have been seeing, talking and writing about ghosts since the dawn of time. How can there not be something to this? That's not technically 100% accurate, but you get my drift. It is true that even in the very earliest writings that we've been able to decipher from the ancient world, that there are descriptions and depictions of spirits, gods, feathered serpents, giants, and a whole host of other weird and wonderful creatures and beings. But these early civilizations didn't have anywhere near the knowledge and understanding of the machinations of the universe that we do. As a quick aside, I don't have my side cam set up. Having read some of Graham Hancock's books, we may have lost some hitherto unknown technologies and processes to time, but that may or may not be another vid. What I'm trying to get at is perception. How we perceive the world and the universe around us is what ultimately defines our reality, along with education, experience, suggestion, belief, a few cognitive biases, and the stuff taught to us by our parents all thrown into the mix. Having said that, our parents blatantly lied to us from an early age. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, female orgasms, it's all bullshit. Then the first time we lie to them, they're fucking shocked. Getting back to the point, let me give you an example of what I mean by perception. The ancient Mayans believed that a solar eclipse was a demon devouring the sun, and that this denoted the end of the world. Actually, the Mayans thought every twatting thing was the end of the world, even the fucking sunset. But anyway, they'd say a few prayers, perform a few rituals, and sacrifice as many people as necessary to appease the demon and restore the sun. Imagine if we still didn't know exactly what a solar eclipse was, and that's what we continue to do today. The thing is, we don't all perceive reality in exactly the same way. You've only got to ask a colourblind person to describe a beautiful vista, or look at some of Claude Monet's paintings after he had a cataract removed from his right eye, to which he then was able to see into the near ultraviolet spectrum of light. There's also a vid by Michael from Vsauce that I highly recommend you go and check out. I'll link in the description. Audio perception can also differ from person to person. Differences in the ear canal can subtly alter the pressure waves hitting your eardrum. Thus, your brain will not interpret sound in exactly the same way as the next person. As I briefly mentioned in my voice recorder breakdown vid, there's a whole subject on psychoacoustics that discusses this. But that interpretation of what we perceive as sound happens entirely inside your own brains, as does our perception of colour. Consider this. If a tree falls down in the forest, and there's no one and nothing around to hear or record it, does it make a sound? Logically, you think it must do. But sound is defined as vibrations or pressure waves moving through a medium, usually air, hitting an eardrum, whether that be a human or animal eardrum, or indeed the microphone diaphragm in some piece of recording equipment. If there isn't any of that around, then by the very definition, there can't be any sound. I asked the same question to Steve some weeks ago, and when I said it didn't make a sound, he looked at me as if I was a fucking imbecile. After my explanation though, he understood what I was getting at, but he still didn't agree. This is all well and good, Rich, I don't hear you saying, because I now know that's not how YouTube works. But how does any of this relate to people thinking they see and hear ghosts? Well, a lot actually. Because of the subjectiveness of our individual realities, it's a combination of all the factors that I've mentioned thus far, to some degree or another. But I would suggest that it mainly comes down to knowledge and how each individual perceives, and in some cases how they want to perceive, their surroundings. People see orbs in photos and videos because they don't know and or understand the physics of how light interacts with the things around them, or exactly how cameras work and capture that light interaction. They don't have the knowledge, understanding and experience to recognise exactly what they're looking at. So orbs are manifestations of spirits, because to them, that's the only explanation they can come up with. I've done a whole breakdown vid on cameras that goes into orbs, so when it's live, I'll card it here and link it in this vid's description. Pareidolia plays a huge part within the ghost hunting community. From as early as 4 months old, we recognise faces at almost adult levels. From then on, our brains continue to develop the pattern recognition processes we require to survive out in the big world. We're pretty much wired to look for faces, shapes and patterns, so when we review ghostly footage, that's exactly what our brains are looking for. How that footage is interpreted is wholly down to the beholder. Finally, I would say that all of the ghost hunting channels here on YouTube, excluding the fakers and the entertainers, are run by true believers. I've yet to see a ghost hunting channel run by skeptics, other than Paranormal Tedium of course. These people want to believe in ghosts for whatever reason, whether that's due to religion, fear of death, previous unexplained events, or some combination of these and or other reasons. So when they go hunting for ghosts, they expect to find ghosts. Confirmation bias kicks in, thus any unexplained occurrences they experience are ghosts. Also, if some evidence or facts come to light that disproves some of what they believe, then cognitive dissonance kicks in, so that both their belief and the evidence can be true. Then you've got the herd mentality to contend with, but I am working on a whole vid dedicated to the psychology of ghost hunting, so keep an eye out for that vid when it goes live. I hear and read time and time again how individuals got into ghost hunting due to some unexplained experience they had as a child. And I often wonder if they had that exact experience today as an adult, would they perceive it in the same way? Would they still think it was paranormal? Or would they see the rational explanation that created that experience? So does any of this mean that ghosts don't exist? We can't say, due to the lack of any real empirical evidence provided by the entire ghost hunting community, or any continued scientific research done into the subject. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on why people think they see ghosts? Do auditory pressure waves inherently have sound? Let me know down in the comments. Before I go, drop me a thumbs up, as that'd do my sanity a fucking world of good. And whilst you're at it, subscribe to the channel, remembering to click the bell icon. That way, when I post any of the new content that I've mentioned, or not mentioned in this vid, you'll be the first to know. Thanks for watching.